and as such, I accept full liability and responsibility for all charges incurred on said account Digicel number 1473-534-5113 from July 2016 to the present date.
We further call for the resignation of the line ministers responsible for the fiasco involving Cellphone Gate.
Phone Gate? I hear they call it Phone Gate. Watergate, Phone Gate, Brief Gate. The last one is Phone Gate. What? Play Gate? Banderanti. I'm the lucky man in all this, right? Okay, fella. If you weren't working with the government, you ought not to have been using phones and assuming that, well, heaven's paying for it. Somebody paying for it.
More than 1 month after the Cellphone Gate scandal broke, Digicel Grenada says it has finally concluded an internal investigation into how the sensitive information was leaked to the public. Last month, it was revealed that former government Senator Sheldon Scott racked up a cell phone bill of approximately $70,000 for the period April to June 2019, while another former MP under the new National Party administration had a bill of approximately $8,000. The information was made public several weeks ago by a talk show host of a political program who claimed that he obtained information relating to the government's phone bill by walking into a Digicel office and asking an intern for the data in which the intern cooperated. In a news release on Wednesday, Digicel Grenada says a thorough internal investigation has determined these claims were false, as the leak of the Government Associates bill did not originate within the company. Digicel Grenada CEO Shivran Redhead said in a news release that, and I quote, "Customer confidentiality is something we take very seriously, and we have in place best practices to protect against the release of private customer information. When the allegations arose, we made it a priority to conduct an internal audit in order to establish the facts, ensure that there are no breaches of information on our part, and confirm that we did everything possible to protect the confidentiality of our customers." End of quote. Akisha Felix for GBN News.
If I want to provide an updated statement re the cell phone matter. Government is continuing to take action to bring about resolution to the matter pertaining to the abuse of government-issued cell phones. It is important to note that prior to news of excessively high usage and cost becoming public knowledge, government was already taking measures to curb this situation. The government-initiated review came at the end of the service contract with Digicel. Talks with the service provider resulted in agreement being reached on increasing the data cap for government users from 1 gigabyte to 3 gigabytes at the same price. And this competitive rate was already being offered to Digicel's general clientele. This increased cap went into effect since June, and the bill for that month showed a significant reduction when compared to the month immediately prior. Government welcomes this change and expects to see further reductions going forward. The initial review shows that high data usage coincided with the introduction of Digicel's LTE service, which provides faster internet connections. Conversations with the service provider have given some indication of how the excessive data usage can occur, and we expect that a statement from the company will be forthcoming to address this, as well as the failure to institute the agreed-upon data cap. As a client, government was operating on the premise that once the cap was reached, service would be disconnected. But this did not appear to be the approach taken by the service provider. Therefore, we call on them to offer an explanation, not just to government, but to the general public. As was previously indicated, prompt action was also taken to remove from government cell phone plan persons who are no longer eligible for that benefit. Service was discontinued to all 10 ineligible users. Some have opted to keep the service number, but they have assumed immediate responsibility for their bills. Government is currently in the process of making arrangements with respect to determining the terms of repayment to reimburse government for monies expended during the period of ineligibility.
People call it the phone gate. I hear they call it phone gate. Water gate, phone gate, brief gate. This one is phone gate. What? Play gate. Banderant. I'm the lucky man in all this, right? Okay, fella. Now, just to say that I think I've spoken on that issue. One thing one has to accept, and maybe my years of experience in this business have taught me, you have to prepare for things not going the right way you want it all the time, on the daily basis. In fact, your own home environment and private life, you know that things happen to you a lot of times. Events around you occur, and you have to be ready to deal with it, not to just mourn over it or complain over it or blame everybody else, but accept your responsibilities, correct it, find solutions, move on. That's the formula for everything, whether it's in your private life, whether it's in sports, whether it's business, political life. That formula will always suit you right. Always examine your role in the what occur first. Never blame the next person first. Look at yourself. Take your blame, and then you examine who else. So the government has accepted full responsibility because we are leading, and all governments in the past, and the numbers and data from previous governments will also be given soon, and you will see what I'm talking about. 2008, 2013, the numbers are something else. So we want everybody to accept their role. I accepted mine, and so on. So we want everybody to accept them. Doesn't make it right, but accept it. And clearly, there's an old saying that no bad breeze blow. When something happens, sometimes it opens your eyes and it gives you to look at not just that issue, but other areas of weaknesses that you may be overlooking. And you might find out that it will give us an opportunity to assess. I've just come from Ministry of Finance, and that's what I'm saying here. I repeated the same thing there. Guys, look around us and look at the other areas. Look at electricity, look at this, look at that, look at all the things. And ask yourself if we are making sure that we are not wasting taxpayers' money and so on. Examine this. So we are looking at solutions. Now with solutions, tighten the auditing department of government. Is, looking at all areas of controls. Looking at responsibilities, a phone bill or electricity bill or water bill comes from government, from some company to your ministry. You don't just sign it and send it on for payment. When each of us get our bills, what do? We check it. So if the water bill goes up too high, we call, well, what happened? It happened to me too, you know. And I call and say, how come that thing reached $1,000 and of course I'm paying $75? And if hungry is a pipe that bust. But if it's government, we paying without asking, well, it's a pipe that bust. So the pipe might be running for months. But we have to examine it, every bill. And if we are doing that, if every person who is responsible for accounting in the public sector, if we were doing this, then we will not be talking that problem here today. So it's a breakdown at several levels. And that is something. Clearly, the service providers cannot duck responsibility. So to say, oh, the government should have checked the bill. Oh, well, maybe the Prime Minister and his team should have been asking for bills. Oh, how could I be asking for bills? Telephone, I have so much work to do. I can find out about bills. I don't even know my bills home. People do it for me. So, but the point is, we are having to put that system in place so we could assure the population, as long as I'm in government, this will not occur. And we are working. The service provider leadership came in to see me since I came back, and we've looked at several areas that we can, of course, advance controls and so on. And we're looking at several options. If the service provider cannot give us cannot ensure that these bills do not go beyond the limit, it may mean that we have to look at another method. Maybe give people a standard amount and they are responsible for their bills. That's an option, but there's some risk related to that. I'm just giving some broad things now. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but I'm just saying if the service provider works with the government and with the different ministries in providing that mechanism for control, then may not need to look alternatively. But in any event, nothing should prevent us from examining bills on a monthly basis in a serious way before.
I'm Eugenia from GBN. My first question has to do with what we call the cell phone scandal, phone gate, whatever name we attach to it. It has to do specifically with we've heard from Mr. Scott that he's willing to commit to his responsibilities for a repayment. I wanted to know specifically what arrangement has been put in place in terms of Mr. Scott's payment plan, if there is one. Is it that he will be doing a special arrangement with Digicel? Can you clarify? That's the first question.
Well, first of all, let me make this point. It's very unfortunate that we have a massive problem, and all we're talking is about one individual. It's extremely unfortunate. There are a lot of culprits in this game, and I don't know that it's fair to single out one culprit. And you know that I use the word culprit because all of us are culprits to some extent. So I think the reason that Sheldon has become the issue is because of what is perceived of his association. If Sheldon was associated with another political organization or have no association at all, and the bills were far more than it is, we would not have heard anything, which is unfortunate. Yeah, it's extremely unfortunate because wrong is wrong, no matter whether the person is the son or brother of the Prime Minister, or friend of the Prime Minister, or friend of anybody in opposition, or a business person. Wrong is wrong, and we must call it out, everybody. So I don't like the fact that it's only one person named that I'm hearing about. I would like the fact that there's several other names. We shouldn't call names, but if we're going to call out all of us. So, going specifically to Sheldon, as you know, I just came back. I was, of course, while I'm abroad, I'm in contact with people, and I gave my own suggestions as to how this should be handled for everybody, including Sheldon. If you weren't working with the government, you ought not to have been using phones and assuming that, well, heaven's paying for it. Somebody paying for it. So it means, therefore, we have to be able to recoup that. So the policy is being put in place, and arrangements are going to be put in place. As I've said, that Digicel has been in touch, so we'll work this together. And since all of us are at fault, all of us have to make sacrifices. I hope that speaks to a suggestion of what I'm, without going into specifics. So the individuals are at fault, the government is at fault, the service provider is at fault, so all of us must make some sacrifices to correct what has happened. The taxpayers must not bear the brunt of our lack of governance.
Mitchell.
We further call for the resignation of the line ministers responsible for the fiasco involving Cellphone Gate. We believe that the Minister of Communication and Works, as well as the Minister of Finance, have a direct responsibility. They should not be allowed to duck their responsibility and to pass the buck to civil servants who they have cowed over the years by the attitude of victimization. They should step aside at least until any investigation is completed. And we believe also that where there is any evidence of fraud, of criminal conduct, that such conduct must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and that anyone found guilty should be debarred from holding public office in Grenada in the future.
On the issue,
the National Democratic Congress calls on the Governor General of Grenada to initiate an investigation into the scandal and any others based on the Commission of Inquiry Act, which grants her the power to name a commission to conduct said inquiry. We believe and we propose that the members of that commission must be drawn from the Grenada Bar Association, the Trades Union Council, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Grenada Conference of Churches. Why? We have no faith in some of the institutions, given the politically incestuous nature of them. And therefore, we believe that any inquiry carried out by the Cabinet of Grenada will be a farce.
I've not said a single word, neither on this program. No media house can say that they got a quote from me. I've not said a single, even members of my own family cannot say that I've said anything to them in relation to this particular issue of cell phone use and so on. What I can say is this: I would not do anything that would end up costing the Grenadian taxpayer a single cent. That's what I will say. And as such, I have sent to the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance this letter, and I'll read right now what I, Sheldon Scott, have sent to the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance. Yeah? Dear P.S. Clark, I write to you regarding the matter of mobile account 1473-534-5113, currently in the name of the Government of Grenada. I acknowledge that this number was assigned to me in May 2013 in my capacity as Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and has been in my possession up to the end of my parliamentary stint in 2016, June 2016. Said number remained in my possession after June 2016, and as such, I accept full liability and responsibility for all charges incurred on said account Digicel number 1473-534-5113 from July 2016 to the present date. Please note that I have discontinued the use of this number, and I trust between myself and your ministry an amicable formula for the repayment and or payment of any sums paid or owed on said account can be reached within a reasonable time frame. Looking forward to your response on this matter soonest. So I have sent this letter to the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance. Any monies that are owed on that account will be paid by me. Because the way I've been hearing some people getting on and saying things out there, I'm wondering if on some occasion, and Devon, you can bear me out, if on some occasion I've said that I don't take responsibility.
No, but you have said it clear.
I'm wondering if on any occasion I have said that I did not and do not take any responsibility for this. Any money, any, down to the last halfpenny, if we still used to use halfpenny, will be repaid by myself. Yeah, I just want to make that clear because I'm addressing it now. I don't intend to address it again. I do not intend to address it again, but I thought it important because there are people out there who are going after my children, which I take extremely personal. There are people out there who are going after members of my family. If you have a problem with Sheldon Scott, keep it with Sheldon Scott. You see, when it comes to my family and my extended family, I take that one kind of personal. Yeah, if it means that I have to go to the Royal Grenada Police Force in relation to the harassment of certain members of my family, I'll do it. If it means I have to go the legal route for some of the things that have been said, and for some of the people that have been saying some things there, if I have to go the legal route, no problem. Yeah? But as it comes on this matter, I've dispatched this letter to the permanent secretary. I trust it is in front of her by now, but it was sent. And that is the only statement that I'm making on this particular issue.
Hi everyone, thanks for checking out the Bub Report's social media pages. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch our weekly live show, follow our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can catch repeat episodes on Wednesdays at 4 and 5 p.m. respectively on CRFM Radio and GBN TV in Grenada. We are also viewed on Sundays at 8 p.m. on WPG 10 throughout the Caribbean. Thanks for watching.